This is my roundup for the first week's reading, which is by James Gleik, called Into the Meme Pool. And it begins with the person who created the term meme, which was Richard Dawkins back in the 1970s. And the term meme and the concept is the transfer of ideas from brain to brain, be it through imaging, images word of mouth as it originally was, or music or whatever. There's a lot of ways in which memes can be transferred, and Dawkins came up with the term when thinking, sort of, because he's a biologist, he compares them to genes and the similarities that they both have in, like, they both evolve and like genes, and the natural course of natural selection, like genes obviously. Birds, thingies, finches, Darwin's finches, the beak evolved there just like memes do, i.e. The meme to remembering how to make fire, or essential things we need to survive, like that. And it goes on to a bit that I thought was interesting, and it was the meme vehicles, and uses the example of a hula hoop, not a plastic hula hoop, and the meme vehicle being the thing that transfers, like the way in which the meme is transferred. So in the sense of the hula hoop, the meme is the dance or the action, exercise, whatever you want to call it, and the hula hoop is the meme vehicle. So back in the 1950s, when the hula hoop careers went everywhere, the people saw people doing this dance and thought, I need a hula hoop to do that. It wasn't actual hula hoop that they wanted to do the dance or exercise, and that was the meme, which I thought was quite interesting. And then it got me thinking, like, surely, and it says sort of in the text as well, that everything, like, we are meme vehicles, everything's a meme vehicle, like posters, they're meme vehicles, I guess. And yeah, I thought a bit was interesting, and it also goes on to sort of another way in which they evolve, are chain letters, which were back in, like, the 20th century. People would send letters with the name on and stuff, and say, copy this message, but take out my name, put your name in it, and then sort of slightly change it a little bit. I thought that was quite good in helping to explain the way they evolve. Like, thing is, just let me change hands, this hurts. So I thought that was interesting. Got me thinking. Also, the bit where it says how they also sort of memes evolve, or the way in which they help to remember, or are remembered, or like their sort of characteristics. So, like it goes with the rhythm and rhyme, that's the way in memes sort of help themselves to be remembered, which I thought was quite good and interesting. And then also the bit about Isaac Newton's picture. Is it like not a lot of people knew what he looked like back when he was alive, but now we apparently do because of pictures and paintings of him. But it then goes on to say that stood on a life of its own. It's sort of as time's passed, it's sort of separate from him, and that's how he looks like now. And also, I think that can also be related to, like, say, music or songs, where an artist writes a song and they mean it to mean a certain thing, or they write it for a certain emotion or that idea, that meme, and then someone else can listen to it and sort of come up with their own conclusions about that. And then, so obviously, memes change a lot, and that's one of the differences between genes and memes. Memes are very sort of, can change drastically, like completely different, go from one thing, and then be like Chinese whispers, go from one thing and be completely sort of maybe vaguely linked, but not as concrete as the original idea, whereas genes, sort of, you can't change them obviously because they're genetic. And yeah, I thought that was one of the biggest differences between them, that the amount they change, and sort of, then it got me thinking, the memes nowadays, do they originally lose the meaning? Are they as valued, are they as valuable as memes were in the 70s when Dawkins came up with the term and then got people thinking about it? And I just thought, does that mean that the means of today are less valuable, or do they dilute over time? So that's what this conclusion of this reading I got from it, and yeah, that's all.